Where Did the Towers Go? By Dr. Judy Wood. This book puts the power of knowing the truth in everybody's hands. It rips the imposed veil of fear and confusion about that fateful day to shreds. It also teaches the reader how to decipher data in today's disinformation age. I consider it a self-study textbook that should be a part of everyone's required reading in order to live consciously in a post-9/11 world. Because, as Dr. Wood says, 9/11 was an attack on human consciousness, and because this truth has not reached the vast majority of the population, this attack continues unabated to this very day. 9/11 is also an attack on truth. The ability to discern reality from fiction has become harder than ever. There's a prejudice of opinion, framing every topic to fit a predetermined agenda. Deception is so prevalent today that unless you can prove something personally to yourself, you risk being conned and victimized. This is especially important when thinking about 9/11, and luckily, Dr. Wood's book is self-verifiable. Andrew Johnson has also documented in his ebooks available free at checktheevidence.com the multi-layered tactics used from day one to discredit, derail, and discourage anyone that gets too close to the truth. His very detailed examples map out what appears to be a coordinated effort to stop people from reading Where Did the Towers Go? Dr. Wood explains that those who planned 9/11 did not forget to plan the official cover-up story, as well as further opposing cover stories to fully control the narrative of permitted explanations. That's why it made perfect sense to infiltrate alternative media to collect an audience of those unhappy with the original fictitious account. A spider weaves its web among ripening berries, where insects in search of sweet fruit juice will be most active and abundant. The most active truth seekers are often enticed by alternative lies and remain stuck in a web of confusion, or paralyzed, unwilling to admit their mistake. A population that is told what to believe is much easier to steer and control. Real knowledge through independent research and observation can no longer be manipulated. Dr. Wood proved irrefutably in the book that the towers did not burn up or slam to the ground, but mostly turned to dust in midair. We have all seen the exterior walls come apart to reveal enormous fountains of thick dust rolling out to cover lower Manhattan like ankle-deep snow. Very fine powder also traveled up to the sky to form huge plumes visible by satellite. Please understand this description and rewatch the videos of the tower's demise with eyes and mind wide open. Only when I did this, I finally saw what was really always there, but too unfamiliar and unexpected to initially observe. Dr. Wood provides tons of evidence to prove it, including unusual seismic signals, mostly undamaged retaining foundation or bathtub, survivors in the North Tower's stairwell B, conservation of angular momentum in the South Tower's tipping top, insufficient solid debris pile, and many other startling facts that make the official and alternative versions of gravity and implosion-driven collapse simply impossible. The most astonishing connection made by Dr. Wood, that also appears to receive much censorship, is between the new method of destruction used on the World Trade Center and the possibility of a new, powerful yet clean energy source. I doubt that the real criminals of 9/11 intended to make this connection public, but they did want to demonstrate to the inner circle the devastating capability of this new technology. Maybe this is why some claim we don't need to agree on how the towers disintegrated, as long as we agree that it was done to bring about what followed. This logical fallacy makes no sense to me, because in today's propagandized society, the towers did not have to be totally destroyed for the official story to take hold and to justify all subsequent events. It's a diversion that pulls the audience away from why the nature of the destructive process is hugely important. It matters because it clearly shows the existence of previously undocumented properties of physical matter. I, for one, do not want to wait for another deadly display, But instead, I would like to see it powering cars, homes, and factories across the world. A technology exists that can turn a solid to dust without heat or explosions. This process can be applied to generate energy with very little cost and replace current methods that cause irreversible contamination and suffering within nature and people. It may be a bigger deal than atomic energy and electricity. It may even be on par with man's first ability to control fire, a turning point in human evolution if such technology is used for good instead. Today, one thing is for certain, that those who possess it are also those who want to rule this world. 9/11 left no doubt in my mind that they really don't value all human life. In my opinion, such dark ideology, along with the ritual symbology surrounding the actions of that day, point to very compartmentalized minds, dealing with lack of inner balance and strength. Those insecurities are commonly instilled as a form of mind control to hold members of stratified groups together, along with plenty of oaths, promises, and other loyalties thrown in. They may even be told that a sacrifice is necessary and justifiable to arrive at a pious and righteous goal. If the ultimate goal is to control everyone in some type of global governmental structure, there's very little chance that the technology of 9/11 will be shared freely among us. Instead, as in 9/11, it will continue to be used to strike fear and further subjugate individual rights. What I learned from the events of that day is that the cities like New York serve as places to develop their tools of control and dependence. All large cities have many bells and whistles to keep residents busy and distracted. But those living out in the country know that cities are unsustaining artificial constructs where a matrix of the future is being perfected. Next, one must admit that any trust in today's media is long gone. I personally substantiate everything before taking it in as truth to act upon. And finally, the illusion of a caring politician or a voting booth appear to now act as theatrical props, like a corporate suggestion box. Political actions in every country around the world after 9/11, attacking human rights and our ability to protect them, speak for themselves. Maybe the real perpetrators used 9/11 to put all governments on notice, to accelerate their agenda. I understand that this information can make one feel powerless, and this may also be their goal since it works so well to discipline their own recruits. But in reality, the very opposite is true. Our tremendous power is exactly the reason why there's so much cunning and falsehoods around the topic of 9/11. They tiptoe and stand in the shadows, because at present they still need our willing participation. On the other hand, what is severely missing in human minds is the recognition that we don't need them. I believe there are plenty of geniuses out there, like Nikola Tesla, that know how subtle modulation of energy fields can profoundly affect matter. All they need is the courage to share it. Technology aside, everyone should embrace the right to self-government, which means autonomy, independence, sovereignty, liberty, self-rule, and self-responsibility. There are no people that can morally claim to be our leaders or saviors. It goes against the very purpose of our creation. To grow in life, each of us must have the full freedom to choose right from wrong. Knowing that both paths are there for the taking makes our conscious decision transformative. Conversely, if we allowed someone to order us around, we would stand still in our spiritual evolution. This is why we are all born with free will, and why a free mind always has a chance for self-redemption. 9/11 was a wake-up call that such freedom can disappear if most of us acquiesce to a subservient life. Our priorities and responsibilities may need to change away from those that allowed 9/11 to take place. We all have choices in front of us every day, and I, for one, constantly work to have the proper perspective and the freedom to always be able to choose what is right.